Okay, so today we have How Can Anybody Possibly Know How I Feel from Morrissey for Morrissey Friday. Now, of course, this is from his album You Are the Quarry. The Quarry? I think it's Quarry. Anyway, from 2004. We're just going with it. We're not restarting. So of the other songs that I've heard from this album, it's a really good album. I think of songs like I Have Forgiven Jesus, First of the Gang to Die. I really enjoyed that one. So anyway, we're going to get into this one today. If you want to request another Morrissey song, I will get to it at some point. My plan is to listen to most of his songs. And he has another album coming out soon, next year, I think. So anyway, let's get into it. I'll stop babbling. Let's go. Another, like I said, Morrissey, very Morrissey title. Let's see what he has here.
Told me she loved me, which means she must be insane. I've had my face dragged in 15 miles of shit, and I do not like it. So how can anybody say they know how I feel? The only one around here who is me. They said they respect me, which means their judgment is crazy. I've had my face dragged in 15 miles of shit, and I do not like it. So how can anybody say they know how I feel when they are they and only I am I? He said he wants to befriend me, which means he can't possibly know me. The voices of the real and the imagined cry, the future is passing you by. The future is passing you by. So how can anybody possibly think they know how I feel? Everybody look and see pain and walk away. And as for you in your uniform, your smelly uniform, and so you think you can't be rude to me because you wear a uniform, a smelly uniform, and so you think you can't be rude to me. But even I, as sick as I am, I would never be you. Even I, as sick as I am, I would never be you. Even I, sick and depraved, a traveler to the grave, I would never be you. I would never be you.
An abrupt ending there. All right. So, how can anybody possibly know how I feel? I love these long Morrissey titles, I have to say at the top as well. But, catch my breath for a second. It's banger after banger, and like I said, I really enjoyed everything that I've heard off of You Are the Quarry, and this one is no exception. I don't know what it is, with Morrissey's voice here, especially on this album. And I guess it's just maybe because he's older and such. He just has a different kind of cadence or something. But he sounds more, what is it? He sounds deeper, I guess you could say. He sounds more kind of poignant or something about it. I don't know how to explain it really. I don't know how to explain it from my end to make others others know what I mean. But like, you know, I don't know, he just has a different kind of cadence. I guess, like I said, it might be just to do with him aging or whatever, his voice getting kind of deeper, stronger, whatever it is. But, you know, so right off the bat, I just really enjoy his voice. I mean, that's what you have to say, what I have to say. And obviously, the lyrics here are, you know, they take no back seats. It's another very, like I said, I say it all the time, but a very Morrissey song. And I just love his lyrics here. They're so, you know, I guess you could say like self-deprecating. They're so like, and there is, you know, for me anyway, there's humor there. I mean, I don't know if he means it to be kind of humorous, because when he talks about, you know, right off the bat with the first verse, she told me she loved me, which means she must be insane. So it's just like, you know, how, you know, there's been so many different Morrissey songs. It's just like one after another of him talking about how he's kind of like unlovable, how like he can't see, you know, anyone ever being with him, or, you know, settling down with him or marrying him. You know, all these themes have been done so many times with him. But even still, you know, you might think you get bored of it, but he always has a different kind of way of doing it. You know, the songs never sound the same, and you know, the titles are never the same either. You know, it's just like I don't know. It's just I don't know. I always come back to him, and it's always something new. Even if he's talking about the same kind of stuff, you know, talking about how he's kind of, you know, unlovable, like I said, and he has a song called "Unlovable," if I remember correctly. But anyway, so, and I didn't expect him here to also, you know, going on with the lyrics again, you know, I've had my face dragged in 15 miles of shit. I don't know if you know, the last time I've heard Morrissey swear on a song, I don't know if he must have before, I must remember, but, you know, where he said shit a few times here, actually, which I wasn't expecting, and when I heard him say that, I was like, oh boy, he's a little potty mouth on this one, and then going on, and I do not like it. Of course you wouldn't. So how can anybody say they know how I feel? The only one around here who is me. And like I said during the song, that is so deep. It's just like, it sounds so kind of vague to say or something, or I don't know. It just sounds kind of, I don't know what it is to say, oh, that's so deep. But, you know, it's so profound. And so I just love, and how he would go on, you know, in the next few verses, next couple verses anyway, where he would say that again in different ways. So just, I mean, I have to go through all these lyrics because I just really enjoyed the lyrics. It's just like I said, they don't take a back seat here. His writing here is exquisite. There's a word for you. You know, they said they respect me, which means their judgment is crazy. So, you know, Morrissey knows, you know, well, he doesn't know, but I mean, like I've said before, like people have gone on before, you know, Morrissey, you know, can be a controversial figure. I did see, actually, which people have asked me about, you know, his upcoming album. And I think somebody says it's supposed to release in February, but he has, you know, artists like Miley Cyrus and Iggy Pop apparently as well, and then Chad Smith and Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know, apparently, you know, they're featuring on the album, which I'm intrigued by. I'm a little giddy to see what's going on and hopefully react to some music. Hopefully, it doesn't get blocked or anything like that. But so yeah, so him, you know, I don't know why I went on, you know, talked about that for a second. But anyway, how Morrissey has talked about, you know, before. A lot of, you know, some people hate Morrissey, some people love him. You know, it doesn't matter. But for him, it's just like, and the people that hate him would agree with him, I guess, when he says, you know, some respect me, which means their judgment is crazy. It's just like, he's just, I don't know, he's so aware. I mean, that's one thing you could say. He's aware of everything. And he's not dumb. It's just like, he's not dumb. He's not stupid. He's like, he's very aware. He's very self-aware of everything. Like I said, he's, you know, self-deprecating usually as well. And so, you know, he's not, you know, he's very aware, like I've said for the 15th time. So anyway, and then you go on again, you know, I've had my face dragged in 15 miles of shit. I do not like it. And then he says, you know, so how can anybody say they know how I feel when they are they and only I am I. Yeah. And again, I just love how the delivery, I love, you know, the kind of, you know, the twisting of words you could say when they are they and only I am I. It's just like, you're not me. It's just like, you know, how can you possibly know how I feel? That's the whole point of it. And then the third verse, this is where we get, you know, it's a bigger verse, a longer verse, and he says a lot more. So obviously, he said he wants to befriend me, which means he can't possibly know me. The voices of the real and the imagined cry. The future is passing you by. The future is passing you by. So how can anybody possibly think they know how I feel? Everybody look, see pain, and walk away. And as for you and your uniform, your smelly uniform, I like that line made me laugh, I think, during the song as well. You think you can be rude to me because you wear a uniform, a smelly uniform. And so you think you can be rude to me. But even I, as sick as I am, I would never be you. Even as sick as I am, I would never be you. And even as sick and depraved a traveler to the grave, I would never be you. I would never be you. So the whole thing of like, he's happy. He's not, you know, obviously, I guess the whole thing, you know, just to wrap it up in a bow. just to try to get this, I guess what I think he's saying across. How he talks about, he's kind of unlovable. He's kind of like, people, it's just like he sees why people don't want to be with him, whatever, all this stuff. He's like, he's not, he doesn't think of himself as the best guy or whatever, as, a stand-up man or whatever. But all that put aside, he would never want to be you. He would never want to be anyone else, kind of a thing. He always just wants to be himself. And, that's the whole point of, how can anybody know how I feel when they aren't me? And it's just like, and even though, I've had so many songs about, not finding a lover, or, unrequited love or anything like that, although I've had that stuff, I still wouldn't want to be anyone else. I'd still want to be Morrissey. Stephen Patrick Morrissey, for God's sakes. And I'd still want to be that. And I just love, the whole uniform thing. I guess obviously what comes to mind is like a cop or a police officer or whatever. And just because they wear a uniform, they think they can be rude. It's just like, you think you're just going to be rude because of that, because you wear a smelly uniform. And even as sick as I am, as sick and depraved, sick in the head kind of a thing, all these, as he mentioned earlier, when he talks about the voices are real, of the real, in the imagined cry. And, I don't think he's talking about the voices in his head or anything like that, but how he talks about, as sick and depraved as I am, a traveler to the grave, one day, everyone's going to go to the grave, but all, but again, he seems so aware of everything and how he's going to go, he's a traveler to the grave, and it's all kind of dark, I guess you would say, but some of Morrissey's life has been dark, obviously, and, he knows, a traveler to the grave, but even so, being sick and depraved and, unlovable, all this stuff, the future's passing me by, for God's sakes, but all that put aside, I would never want to be you, I would never be you. At the end of the day, those last two lines really, they really sum it up. My God. So, I don't know if there's anything else I really need to say. This song just, caught me right off the bat, and maybe want to just talk about everything that he was going on about here, because obviously, it just talks about, he's been drugged through so much shit. It's just like, but again, you don't know who I am, you don't know how I feel. You think you know, but you don't really know. And all this, your judgment's crazy. You're obviously insane for wanting to like me and all this stuff. And it's just such a great Morrissey track. It's so Morrissey to its core. And if if you get it, you get it. My God. So anyway, I also just wanted to look at the, because again, I am on Passions Just Like Mine, which I always talk about. I love this site for Morrissey songs, and just to see the personnel here. So, my God, it talks about who was on it. Okay, so with musicians on the recording, Boz Bohr on guitar, Alan White on guitar. Those are obviously all the time, usually on on a Morrissey track. Gary Day on bass, Dean Butterworth on drums, and Roger Manning on piano. And to be honest with you, I forget kind of what the instruments sounded like. I forget what the backing to him, to his voice, because I was just really captivated by Morrissey the whole time and what he was saying, because it was so poignant. It's so just, again, I wouldn't say he's telling a story, but it was just, I guess that's what it is. It was very poignant to me and what he was saying, and how he's trying to explain to somebody, you're not me. That's the whole point of it. How could you possibly know how I feel and what I am like and all this stuff? And it's just like, he's really just it's really like an FU, basically. That's to some people to the people that he's really trying to get this across to. It's if you feel like, this is for you, the shoe fits wear it kind of a thing, when he talks about how could you possibly know how I feel. So hopefully that made sense to you. But anyway, really just enjoyed this track. This video is already almost 15 minutes, holy moly. But again, the lyrics just took me for a ride here, and I just had to go through everything and talk about what I thought of the whole thing, and how, he would always just want to be Morrissey either way. And I think that's, at the end of the day, I think that's what a lot of people want to, I think that's what we want to achieve. You wouldn't want to be anyone else. You'd love, to love yourself, really. Never mind your negatives or whatever it is, your cons or whatever. If there's, if the cons outweigh the pros, either way, just to be you at the end of the day, that you can stand and look in a mirror and not be angry or not want to be anyone else. I think that's what you gotta, and that's very important in life, to love yourself. Obviously. So anyway, all that said, I really enjoyed this track. This was a great, I have to say, yeah, I can't say it enough. I really enjoy this track. And like I said, this album, just seems like it was such a great album, and I've loved so many tracks on it. So, and like people have said, it was kind of a return to form for Morrissey. Because again, he didn't release, he released, I think, Maladjusted in 97, and then this one came out in 04, so it was a while. But he saves up some tracks for this one, I'll tell you what. So anyway, hopefully I got it all right. Hopefully you understood what I wanted to say. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, everything like that. Really appreciate all the support. And of course, leave your suggestions and recommendations down below. And love you guys. I'll see you again next week.